getting quite bearish out there. And if you're not already aware, I wrote a progress report in which I detailed my fund's performance to this point, but more importantly, where we see ourselves going in the future. So there's graphs involved, lots of imagery. It's a very digestible report. You can find that on leftskewed.com, or you can head over to my Twitter. It's my pinned tweet on my Twitter, and it's right there for your viewing. But we're going to talk about a lot of the stuff in that report and what we saw today and what we're seeing tomorrow with regards to the CPI report. So today was a very interesting day. Yes, it was down, but yesterday, futures opened up green. And this, in my opinion, is a pretty bearish signal and illustrates a lot of things and can hopefully guide you in terms of creating your proper sentiment to gauge things that occur. Yesterday, we opened up green and we just had a slow trickle down overnight. Just continued to go, and then the market opened, just continued to go, Not very good in my opinion, especially when I believe it's backed up by fundamentals. And I certainly highlight all of that in the report. I again reiterate, I would encourage you to do so. First things first, we're just going to address real quick CPI report. Okay, fine. We all know it's coming tomorrow. Well, today we had the White House and members of the Fed basically clamoring, letting us know so it's not such a big shock tomorrow that it is going to be a hot CPI. I don't think that's going to help the situation. I don't think tomorrow is going to be good news. If anything, it's probably going to add to the bad news. And I think the market just started to react to that hot CPI of tomorrow today. So we all know it's going to be hot, but I think we got a little too close to all-time highs. And here is why I think we're entering a little bit another spill. And I said this in last week's video and videos earlier last week. The Fed has articulated that they are going to try to move to the neutral rate, essentially. Some people say maybe not. Some people say maybe a bit above, but that they want to get to the neutral rate. The thing with the neutral rate is it makes sense to beat the neutral rate when you are in a stronger economy, which we are right now, with normal inflation, 0 to 2% inflation. That is not the case right now. We've got inflation over 7%, nearly 8%. Tomorrow, probably going to be above 8%, could be as high as 10%. And it's higher than that because we have tremendous rent inflation, which is consumers' largest expense, at least the average consumer's largest expense. So the neutral rate is quite a ways off from where we are, but we could get to the neutral rate and it would have some impact, not too crazy of an impact. But what I think is really going to continue to spook the market is this notion that is likely going to be reiterated tomorrow and is not being widely held, it seems to me, in my opinion and my understanding of talking to market participants and seeing what's going down. What is not widely held is that we have to go meaningfully beyond the neutral rate. We did in previous inflation cycles, 70s and 80s, we went well beyond the neutral rate of 2.5%. So I just see us having to go beyond that. And some people saying, oh, the market is priced in the Fed, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I don't think that's the case. I don't think the market has priced in a move well beyond the neutral rate. And I say that because I have no idea how far beyond the neutral rate we have to go. So I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I have no idea. And I have no way of coming to the number. Like it's just not priced in. We can't just assume because it's known it's priced in, right? There's debate. There's two sides to the coin. There are people who think the Fed can't even get to the neutral rate. And that's not a small cohort of the market. There are people who believe that. What I'm most concerned about, in addition to these forces, maybe not most concerned about, but another thing that is adding to my concern right now is last week we had retail net inflows into ETFs. But 5 of the last 6 weeks, we've had institutional net outflows. Why is this concerning? Well, institutions can typically weather storms a little bit more, right? They're not necessarily trading with the rent money. They're trading with pension funds, which don't need to liquidate on a dime to pay rent, etc., or to deal with inflation. So they aren't necessarily panic sellers. They can be, but they're not necessarily panic sellers, institutions. So they are out of the market. They have made that move. They are out. So retail is who's coming in and who is allegedly supposed to be propping us up right now. They are net inflows. For now, they have been doing that job. However, if the market turns sour and institutions have become negative and are no longer coming in, retail can very easily make that pivot out. And that's when things can get a little ugly. That also can be when things bottom, but that hasn't happened yet. So we're not yet at the bottom, in my opinion. Let's get through the CPI tomorrow. We'll do another video. We'll see how things are. I am bearish. I still have long positions. I still have growth positions in the line of fire. Please read my progress report. I detail everything there. But I am bearish. I have the largest, by far, amount of SPY put options I've ever had. And I have my largest position, which we've discussed many times and has been the case for several months now, is TBT, a short 20-year Treasury ETF, which happens to be doing very well. I have over 7% allocation to the stock, and I've got over 5% allocation to options on top of the stock that extend out into 2023. Those are all in the money at this point. So we're playing the downside. You know, it technically wasn't wise to sell Amazon during the internet bubble, and I have a couple stocks that I feel like are Amazon types. Maybe they won't be the biggest companies in the world, but they will certainly be very big companies, seeing 50 to 100x returns. So I am going to continue to hold those positions, but I'm also bearish and have bearish positioning to reflect that. So again, one last time, get into that progress report. You can see my sector heat map of performance thus far year to date. A lot of these positions are still on the books, some are not. And as always, here and happy to answer any questions that come my way. So that's today's video. We'll see what happens with the CPI tomorrow. And until next time, peace out.